Many of us go through life on a daily basis with barely touching the surface of our identities. The problem is, we don't truly dig deeply into our thoughts, feelings, desires, and dreams. Having a deeper understanding of ourselves has many benefits, along the lines of being able to conquer our greatest fear, understanding what to prioritize, and also realizing who we see when we look in the mirror.
Wish we could turn back time to the good old days.
Thus, to show my growth and maturity over the last 5 months, it has brought me to this point, to present to you the Walk of Intimations, which ultimately led to my self-exploration.
Setting us to sleep, but now we're stressed out.
Filling out the Getting to Know Me sheet at the beginning of the semester allowed me to identify how I perceived myself. I considered myself to be a shy individual who cared for friends and family, but feared not being able to satisfy my parents' requirements, and therefore only prioritized getting good grades in classes. Journaling was a major influence in shaping who I am 5 months later, and truly opened up my eyes to new knowledge. Completing the various journals and critical reflections has further given me the ability to self-reflect, analyze, and deeply think about the various events that take place on a daily basis, and how each event contributes to who I become the next day. Observing my journals, it became evident to me that as time passed by, my greatest fears started to shift, resulting in different priorities and ultimately molding me to become a different person who holds different traits than before. The overall experience has made me embark on a journey to find clues and hints of how I will develop in the future. One influenced by new thoughts was Phileas Fogg, who was the protagonist in Around the World in 80 Days. The adventure he went on made him encounter various obstacles and people, all of which impacted him to have altered priorities and changed him as an individual. Alike, in Monoceros, the protagonist was a homosexual individual named Patrick Ferry, who faced multiple hindrances in his school and social life. His fear of being bullied was altered to his fear of not having the drive to move forward in life. This example allowed me to connect and reflect upon my fear. When I received low marks on my midterm report, the fear of my parents' reaction haunted me, but after receiving a lecture, I found out that all that mattered was that I try my best to achieve something. And so I discovered a new fear, which was the need to have ongoing positivity so I don't feel negative at the most important of times. In Siddhartha, I found out that it's not about the end of the journey. Instead, it is about how we intend to get there, and so my fear should not be about what happens at the end of every situation. Rather, it should be the fear that I may not be able to get there because of steps in between. Receiving a low mark in math class was detrimental for me. However, I had earned that mark from hard work, which means I actually learned along the way. This changed my priority as I believe that it is not about getting the best grades, but it should be about being passionate even if that means getting a lower mark than expected. In King Lear, he valued his material objects the most, and when he lost it and his daughter Cordelia, he understood that love is more important than anything, further showing that it is not about having the best of things, but the things we possess should come and be consumed with love. I was talking to a friend and was discussing about being positive in life. That's when I realized that I transitioned from being shy to being more open to others and giving off a positive atmosphere. I believe that motivation and always looking at the bright side is what is significant, and so I see a different person in the mirror now. Receiving a rejection from the Ivy School of Business made me feel unstable about life, and I started to realize that it's not about the end destination that I fear. I fear that I may become negative and spoil the steps in between to get there. This event has also changed the way I perceive myself because I see myself as an optimistic individual who needs to keep moving forward no matter the situation. All these small events have shaped me for who I am after 5 months, and English for You has taught me various lessons to bring me where I am now. I have now identified a new person in the mirror, a person who is much more positive and can bring up others at times of low. My greatest fear has also been altered from dreading the final destination of the journey to fearing making mistakes along the way. And finally, my priorities have changed from trying to achieve the best grade to achieving them by being passionate about what I do. In the future, I will make sure to be open to clues in my next journey in life, and reflect every situation, as the smallest of events may be major factors in changing who I become. Life is full of unexpected events, and it is our job to accept anything that comes in our path and analyze and reflect upon it to extract the most benefit out of it. And so, the final destination is not what matters. Instead, the steps along the way are what molds an individual for who they are. As individuals, we must plow underneath the soil of our thoughts and emotions and encounter our fear, recognize our true priorities, and be able to identify who is being reflected on the other side of the mirror. In order to undergo this process, we must embark on a journey to find clues and hints on a daily basis, and ultimately keep searching for intimations on our walks of self-exploration, and discover what is most important to us, our identity.